So good morning, this is our first assembly from my garden, and today, with thanks to Simon & Schuster Publishing, we are going to share the terrible, greedy Fossifoo. The creatures of the great green forest loved their home. The trees were covered with delicious fruits, the bushes were bursting with juicy berries, and everyone lived happily together. That is, until the terrible, greedy Fossifoo arrived. He had come from far, far away, crashing over the mountains, flattening grasslands, stomping through lakes and rivers, and now he was hungry. The forest had always produced plenty for the creatures, but now they could only watch as the greedy Fossifoo helped himself to everything he could find. Soon there was nothing left to eat in the whole forest, but the Fossifoo was so greedy that he still wanted more, and now he was angry. "Watch this!" he roared, and he tore a tree right out of the ground. This made the Fossifoo feel much better, so he tore up another, and another, and another. "Aren't I big?" he bellowed, but nobody heard. Everyone had run away. Soon the Fossifoo had torn up every last tree in the forest, and now he was hot. "Watch this!" he boomed, and to cool down he jumped right into the lake with a gigantic splash and emptied it. "Aren't I clever?" he bellowed, but nobody heard. All the fish had disappeared. By this time the Fossifoo had bashed, crashed, munched and splashed, and now he was thirsty. "Watch this!" he yelled. Then he reached up into the sky and grabbed a rain cloud and wrung it out right into his enormous mouth. And then he emptied all the other clouds just for fun. "Aren't I?" The Fossifoo spun around to see who was watching. Nobody was. The Fossifoo looked around. Nothing moved. The Fossifoo listened. Not a sound. The Fossifoo waited for an hour. Then a day. Then a week. A year passed and the forest was completely dry and bare. Still, nobody came. "What have I done?" whispered the Fossifoo, and he started to cry. He cried and cried and cried until there were no tears left to cry. If only he had taken care of the beautiful forest. Then he noticed it. Beneath his feet, watered by all his tears, a tiny seed had sprouted. The Fossifoo knew that the seed would need more water if it was going to grow big and strong, but there was not a single drop left in the forest. So the Fossifoo leapt up and raced to the faraway mountains, where he carefully gathered clouds from the mountain tops and hurried them back to where the forest once stood. Then he gave each cloud a gentle squeeze and out poured the rain. One by one, other seeds hidden in the dry earth began to sprout. Cared for by the Fossifoo. Some seeds grew into tall trees and began to bear fruit, and others blossomed into bushes, bursting with berries. By now the Fossifoo was very hungry, but this time he didn't guzzle all the fruit and berries. This time he took just enough to fill his empty belly. The rest he either planted in the ground or left to ripen on the trees and bushes. Before long, rainwater filled the lake and the great green forest was beautiful once more. There was just one thing missing: the forest creatures. The Fossifoo would have to get them back. So he filled his arms with fruit and set off to find them. He trod gently over the mountains, softly through the grasslands, and carefully across lakes and rivers. Everywhere he went, he told the creatures that he found how lovely the forest had become. He tempted them with his tasty treats, and he promised never to stomp or bash or crash ever again. One by one they followed the Fossifoo home, and now he was happy. From that day on, no creature in the great green forest went without food or shelter again. Everyone lived happily together as the Fossifoo watched over their beautiful home, making absolutely sure everything was shared equally, and who would argue with a terrible, not so greedy Fossifoo? Now, the reason I chose that story is because I think at the moment our world is fixing itself. So all the time you're keeping safe by staying home. The birds have got free rein to fly through the sky, and the creatures aren't being disturbed by rubbish or cars or people stomping over their buildings, stomping over their homes. And so if we're very careful, when all of this is over and we go back to school and we go back to work and we start living our lives again normally, if we're really, really lucky and really, really careful, then we can make sure that our world that's just started to fix itself gets even better. We can try to look after our fields and our forests and our seas, and we can make sure that all the creatures that have got stronger while we've been stuck at home, keeping out of the way, we can make sure that all of those creatures continue to be safe and well fed, and we'll look after the hedgerows and the fields and the trees and our seas and our beaches, and our world be even better. So, while you're at home, you're doing two really important things. You're keeping yourself safe, and you're helping our world have a little bit of time to fix itself, so it will be even better when we're all back together once again. Right, well, I'm going to go back and carry on doing some jobs this morning, which won't be in my office, which is very strange, and I'll look forward to seeing you all very soon. See you soon. Bye bye.